Heyo, and welcome to another video review from Gamer's Guide to Life. I'm Andrew Whipple, and today we're going to be taking a retrospective look at Visceral Games' Dead Space 2. Taking place 3 years after the events of the first Dead Space, protagonist Isaac Clarke makes his return, and he's got some personal demons to deal with, along with a legion of those damn necromorphs. Right off the bat, I can tell you that the story behind this game isn't nearly as captivating or interesting as the first one was, and for good reason. For one, we now know what the necromorph threat is, as we've been face to face with a multitude of the creatures in the previous game. They're just another monster at this point, since the mystery isn't really there anymore. The main plot also plays it very safe, not taking any twists or turns that you didn't already see coming. This isn't to say that the whole story and main plot are monotonous, because there are definitely some interesting facets to the design that will surely keep you playing. One of those new design quirks is that Isaac actually talks now. Yeah, he's no longer a mute who sits in the back while everyone else drives the story forward.
Oh, hey! Hey!
This change is fantastic because Isaac has become more personable since he can now interact with other characters. It might not seem like a big deal, but Isaac's plight is more realized when he's revealing his emotions through speech, not purely body language. Hands down, the relationships and dialogue in this game are far superior to the original.
It doesn't recognize a new junction.
I think I've got it from up here.
You just rewired from down here.
What? I didn't hear you.
Nothing. Nothing.
You'll also notice that the game itself looks pretty damn good. Dead Space 2 opens up the visuals in a beautiful way, especially when you get to mess around with the outdoor environments. Remember those zero-G environmental puzzles from the first game? They were definitely some of the best parts of the title, and they've returned with some nifty little changes. Isaac can now hover and move freely as opposed to jumping from place to place. This change has made a huge difference, since now your freedom will enable you to solve more complex puzzles and fight greater threats. I really enjoyed these zero-G segments, as they continue to be a strong point for the series. This brings us to the weapons, and what would Dead Space be without them? All your favorites return intact, and some come with some very nice enhancements. Sure, you could use the trusty plasma cutter 24/7 again and be boring, but where the hell's the fun in that? Now bust out something incredible, like my personal favorite, the Force Gun. I mean, look at this thing in action. While there's plenty to choose from in Dead Space 2's arsenal of murder, the new detonator and javelin gun are among the best new additions to the game's weapon cache. What makes the javelin gun so good? Thought the name gave it away. The detonator is great too, since it doubles as a grenade launcher. Hit any necromorph with it and watch as your enemy's limbs jettison in all manner of directions. If you miss with it, no worries. It's no big deal since your shot automatically sets up into a mine. You can also deactivate these mines and pick them up if the one you laid turned out to be useless. This gun is especially good against those new demon alien things that hide behind crates. Man, I hate those guys. Like your weapons, pretty much all the necromorphs return, including a few other nuisances besides those fast bastards. Crazy baby exploders, wild demon children, and the pukers are among them. The worst has to be the pukers, since they can slow you down with their projectile vomit, which makes them annoying beyond all reason. It's alright though, because the shooting is as solid as ever, and Dead Space 2 puts up a very impressive display of how to take care of business in a variety of situations. As you can see, some of these fights are put into quite the cinematic perspective. Awesome as the action is and addicting as the upgrades may be, Dead Space 2 is not without its faults or weird issues. Unlike the first game, if you'd like to get what the necromorphs might have been carrying, you'll need to smash their corpse. Now that's right, sometimes the monsters won't drop anything, but if you curb stomp their bodies or otherwise mangle them, they'll drop cash or maybe some ammo. I don't know, don't ask. I also ran into a couple of predicaments where the item I was carrying would just up and vanish. Maybe it's because I was taking it too far into the game. I'm not sure, but there's no reason something like that should just up and disappear. There was also another time where I entered this nice room. At first I was taken aback by what might be beneath me, but they're necromorphs, just running in place. Sweet. Really? Something else I didn't much care for was the fact that due to a glitch in the game, Visceral made available all the special suits and items at the start. So not only are there a gaggle of things to choose from, they also cost exactly 0 credits to pick up. They also made every single form of ammunition available to purchase from the store, which seems counterproductive in a horror game like this. This issue can be avoided if you just steer clear of all the free items, but it would have been nice to see a patch that fixes this kind of issue. Once your romp through the main story is done, like the first game, Visceral has set up a new game plus mode. You can either jump right into the game with all the upgrades you currently have, or you can try out the game's brand new hardcore mode. If you decide to do this, your health and ammo pickups will be sparse, and the kicker is that you'll only be able to save 3 times. Good mode, if you're a sadist. If another playthrough doesn't entice you, then you can dive right into the brand new multiplayer game. Actually, you should steer clear of this game's components since it's beyond horrible. But think of it as the welfare version of Left 4 Dead, where the humans play themselves and the zombies play the necromorphs. The humans are very powerful and can kill the necromorphs in just a few shots, but they can still respawn fairly quickly after they die. While there are 4 types of necromorphs to choose from, they all basically play as spam mode, since they can spawn anywhere on the map with little to no respawn time. There are several maps to choose from, each with a different objective, but it all just ends up playing the same way. Be honest though, you don't look to Dead Space for competitive multiplayer. Though it has its faults, Dead Space 2 is definitely a game you shouldn't skip. Its atmosphere, gameplay, and new additions are all a testament to the talent over at Visceral Games. Just next time, fellas, skip out on the competitive multiplayer.